Hey there, Kendama Gendale here. Going to do a quick news thing for you. All right, I want to just follow up on some stuff that we talked about yesterday with Garrison. Early on, we talked a little bit about trans bathroom rights, and Garrison and I were both like a little bit dismissive of trans bathroom rights. I've gotten a little bit of pushback on that, and I just want to say, like, I totally support. Like, I think people should be able to use whatever the heck bathroom they want. In general, I think we should have unisex bathrooms, but I mean, obviously not everywhere is going to have that. I would love to talk to somebody to have maybe a panel on um, to talk about how these laws are affected. I've had a couple people say, it's a big deal. It helps access to public schools and that sort of thing. It's just not something that I've personally had to deal with much or had much interaction with, to be perfectly honest. So I would love to talk to somebody about that. I would like to get kind of all sides of this. I just say what I believe, and that doesn't mean I'm not open to other things. I just haven't had the opportunity to have those conversations yet. So if anyone wants to do that, please hit me up. All right. Also wanted to deal with this. Check this out. This is on Kotaku. YouTube's edgy jokes are part of a bigger debate in the comedy world. Garrison and I talked about this for a hot minute yesterday. It was maybe the major portion of our panel debate. It's this idea um, of what's a joke and what's appropriate, what isn't. And we both kind of came to the conclusion where our opinion is both that we both try to not hurt anybody with our jokes. We try to say things that we believe in and not just lie and provoke and cause outrage. But we also don't super care when somebody says something offensive. Like, it's not good, but neither of us really have the energy to like yell about it. That's kind of the conclusion we came to. Again, I would love to hear from other people's perspectives, but that's just having spent 4 years, organizing small local comedy shows in the middle of Montana. That's kind of what I've come to decide is the best policy, and that's the attitude that I've seen cause the most growth and most tolerance among comedians. It doesn't cause people to shut down, and it allows people who are generally very progressive to flourish. Okay, moving on from yesterday. We got some new news. The CPAC is happening. I haven't really been following it because it mostly just seems like viral marketing for the Republican Party. So that's neat. If there's anything coming out of CPAC that's interesting, let me know. I've heard Steve Bannon kind of lays out Trump's agenda to close or reduce a lot of the regulations in a lot of the various federal departments and from the cabinet members. I don't know if this is true or not because I haven't read the speeches. Um, we'll find out. Alan Colmes passed away. He was Hannity's counterpoint. Um, to be perfectly honest, I think Hannity suffers not having Colmes. But I think this guy was a pretty good pundit. I think he did a good job. Um, yeah, anyway, RIP Alan Colmes. The DNC is also having their debate, probably to try and counterbalance CPACs to try to take away some of the viral marketing for the Republican Party and give it to the Democratic Party. I also don't care about this. I also have not watched it. But I don't consider it to be an honest debate. I think all of the candidates are basically establishment candidates. I don't think the DNC, as Garrison and I talked about yesterday, I don't think the DNC has done anything to address the corruption that they found within the party. There's actually a kind of funny, interesting here. Perez was pushed multiple times on whether the 2016 primaries were rigged, having stumbled over his words during a trip to Kansas and said they were. In parentheses, it says he meant to say that the debate scheduled during the primaries had been rigged. Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. I guess this guy Ronan, whoever he is the only guy who's actually calling out the DNC. But he's very much like a fringe candidate. He doesn't really have any sway, and he's not at all going to be the chairman. So yeah, until the DNC starts to looking inward and trying to address the corruption, as far as I'm concerned, they're not going to do anything for the American public. And they're not going to do anything to effectively fight against Trump. If the complaint against Trump is that he's corrupt and that he's a business official and that he's going to use the position that he's in to his own advantage, which I think is a valid criticism. You can't make this as the Democratic Party right now. And I hate to always be trying to call people out for their hypocrisy, because everyone's hypocritical. But if you're trying to build an opposition party, you got to do something else. You got to start inward, fix the corruption, and then you can go ahead and attack Trump. And if you do that, you will win. If you don't do that, you will continue losing over and over again. All right, moving on. President Trump holds anti-human trafficking meeting 2/23/17. This is a big deal. Jeff Sessions the first executive order with Jeff Sessions sworn in as Attorney General had to do with human trafficking. Trump is going to make a big deal about human trafficking. It is going to make a big deal in the news. Watch this story, I promise. One interesting thing is that I saw this while I was watching the news today, and went to try to find it so I could do this show and couldn't find it anywhere. It wasn't on the Donald Trump subreddit. I couldn't find it by searching YouTube. I couldn't find it by searching Google News. It's very tough to get a hold of this video. I mean, it's not like hidden or gone or anything. Yeah. Speaking of hidden or gone, there's one other thing that I didn't bring up. Apparently, there's a rumor right now that a reptilian alien posted a selfie on 4chan, and the NSA shut it down immediately. I don't know if it's true. I haven't seen any evidence other than hearsay that it is true. Basically, people saying they saw this like incredibly detailed selfie of an alien, like literally a reptilian alien, pointing a camera at himself. And then it was immediately deleted, and people took screenshots of it, but had them deleted from their hard drive, etc., etc., etc. I don't think it's true, but that's something that people are saying and is making the rounds on various websites. The Dakota Access Pipeline protest site has been cleared. This is a super bummer. The camp officials have been telling people to go home for quite some time. Trump said that they're going to go ahead and do this. I'm bummed this ended this way. I didn't really see any other way that it could have ended, especially after the Sioux tribe asked people to leave. People trying to talk crap on the protesters have, brought attention to all the trash that they left behind. Yeah, I don't know. Washington Post hires John Podesta as columnist. This would be another example of how I can't understand how Podesta hasn't in some way been held account for some of the stuff that he's been revealed that he was culpable of. I mean, well, to be fair, I mean, the Podesta leaks exposed other people more than it exposed Podesta. So that's I'm maybe being a little reactionary here, but I have so little interest in reading his columns. I can't even possibly. So this is kind of an interesting thing. It does appear here that Donald Trump is somewhat in support of transgender bathroom laws, but he's taking sort of the states' rights out, if you will. So he's basically saying it's up to the states to decide. I don't have any say in this type of thing. Part of what he does is he kind of creates a vacuum. He refuses to say things or commit to things so that people can project their own beliefs onto him. I've seen people do this with like Snowden and that sort of thing. Like, oh, Donald Trump talks tough on Snowden, but if he was elected, he would probably pardon Snowden, which, in my opinion, is completely delusional. But what have you? It's working for him. It's how it is. But he certainly doesn't come off in this video as extremely strong against transgender rights, which is part of why I would really love to talk to somebody about transgender rights and how transgender rights are being affected by Donald Trump's election. Would love, like I said, would love to learn more about this. And I just also wanted to address, in case like my dad is watching, or anyone who watched yesterday's panel and didn't care for the not safe for work language. There may be cussing in the panel shows. When I'm doing my shows by myself, I prefer not to cuss and swear, even though to me, swearing is kind of a part of the vernacular. I grew up as a kid on the internet. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. I think to most kids who grow up on the internet, it doesn't matter. I think mostly it's parents who are concerned about their own parents being concerned with them. Anyway, but I want to make this show something. I want to make this show something that kids can watch and parents can watch, and more than that, I want to make this show something that kids and parents can watch together. I want to make this show something that can bring people together rather than keep people separate. There's nothing more frustrating for me as a kid than identifying or connecting with something on the internet or in an R-rated movie and not being able to share with my parents or not being able to connect with my parents because of it. So, while I don't think swearing is a big deal, and I want people on the show to act naturally and express themselves in the way that's most comfortable with them, I also will personally prefer to avoid it. So that's my general policy of not having a policy of swearing. So yeah, not that any of that matters. Thanks for watching. Yeah, see you guys soon.